Welcome back to Fox and Friends First. Well, Cruz and Sanders had big victories last night in the Badger State, but what influenced Wisconsin voters and what does it mean for the race ahead? Pollster and partner at Musklansky & Partners, Lee Carter joins us now to break down the exit polls. Good morning, Lee. Always good to see you.
Good morning. Great to see you.
So let's start with the women vote. We know that's crucial in these elections, and when it came to women in Wisconsin, they went with Ted Cruz.
They went with Ted Cruz, and this is a big deal. I think one of the things that we're learning about Ted Cruz is he is a chameleon. He is, he started this whole thing, he's like, I am an outsider.
AKA a good politician.
Exactly. He's like, I am an outsider. And then he became an insider, and now he is the champion of women. And he did a great job with the women's vote. Look at the numbers. I mean, 48% of women went for Ted Cruz. Never would have predicted this back a year ago when we were talking about this, because women really, by and large, used to be really concerned about Ted Cruz because his policies are really probably among women voters some of the most concerning.
Well, how much of that was because women were turned off by some of the comments that Donald Trump has made most recently on abortion, that Ted Cruz was the alternative?
I think that is a big part of it. It could have gone Kasich, but it didn't. It went to Ted Cruz. I think you can also see that Ted had a really big push on women, starting with the town halls. He also, if you go on his website, there's a lot of videos about women. He told stories about his mother. He told stories about his wife, all of the strong women in his life, what it means to be a proponent of women. And that was a lot of the story that he's been telling for the last 2 weeks. So I think he really, not only did he capitalize on Donald Trump's comments, but he made, he told his own story to counterbalance that.
When we asked voters what they want with the president with political experience, Cruz also won there as well.
He did. And, this is somewhat surprising, right? Because he ran as an outsider, when he came in, and now we're saying I'm the experienced one. And the man's 45 years old, so how different is this than when people said, I'm a little bit concerned, does he have enough experience? Is this not the same thing as President Obama 8 years ago? But here he is, the candidate with experience.
Well, we know Hillary Clinton has struggled when it comes to trustworthiness and honesty, but last night she struggled again. I mean, you look at that, when that's a top quality for Democrat, Sanders, 83%.
And this is an issue.
That's not good for Hillary Clinton.
No, it's not. State after state after state. We've seen it in the 80s, in the 90s, and this is an issue. And she's got to figure this one out, because at the end of the day, if you can't trust a candidate, it's going to be really, really hard to pull that lever.
We asked GOP voters the top quality of the candidate. You have share my values, 35%, can bring change, 34%, tells it like it is, 18%. We know Trump does well with them. This surprised me, though. When in November, only 11%.
Only 11%. And that, I thought this was, we also saw this on the Dem side. It wasn't as big as I would have expected. And a lot of people went out and voted for Bernie despite the fact that they didn't think that he could win in November. Now, on this side, it wasn't the top. I also think tells it like it isn't as important as we've seen in other states.
Right.
That traditionally was a really important thing, not traditionally, but in this cycle, we've seen that that's really important. And Trump was winning it over and over again. So I don't know if it's because of the gaffe of the last couple of weeks that we said, well, maybe telling it like it isn't such a good thing.
Yeah, and this one was also very interesting. Which one of these candidates do you think ran or has been running the most unfair campaign? Trump, 54% there.
Now, this is fascinating to me, because Trump running the most unfair campaign, what's the evidence to support that? I mean, a lot of people up until now have said Ted Cruz ran a very unfair campaign. I mean, Trump hasn't been spending the money, so what has he really been doing that's unfair? $2 million spent against Trump in advertising in Wisconsin. So, the feeling is that Trump's running an unfair campaign. Is it because he's whining so much and he's making it seem like it's such an unfair campaign? Is he doing this to himself?
I think all the campaigns have been nasty in their own way. Lee Carter, always good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Thanks for being with us.
Anytime.